It's another weekend, and this is Capital Markets coming your way from the stables of Channels Television. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Temple Ashaju. This week saw the release of the first quarter GDP report published by the National Bureau of Statistics. The estimates show that the economy contracted for the fifth consecutive quarter, albeit at a slower pace than previous quarters, as economic output contracted 0.52% year-on-year in the period. That's better than the 0.7% realized in the first quarter of last year, 2016. The Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank also met this week, leaving all rates unchanged for the third time this year. The MPR was retained at 14% and cash reserve ratio came in at 22.5%, while the liquidity ratio is retained at 30% with the asymmetric corridor of plus 200 basis points and minus 500 basis points. Now, the third impactful event of the week is the passage of the governance section of the Petroleum Industry Bill by the National Assembly. And these events and the decisions culminated into positive trends, all for the sake of the markets, the capital markets, talking about equity specifically, because what we saw this time on the bond side of things was a little bit slow. But this brings in the equity market into the positive territory, closing at 338 basis points week to date. In the week ahead, President Muhammadu Buhari's administration will, of course, clock 2 years. And in capital market, it behoves on us to assess the performance of this administration within the period. And so later on the program, an analyst will be joining us to share some perspectives on this discourse. But let's step into the program proper at this point and look at some stories that actually trickled into the markets. First is the ASEAN events, which we told you last week will be holding this week. Yes, it held, and former governor of Anambra State, Mr. Peter Obi, challenged the federal government to tap into the varying opportunities in the Nigerian capital market. Mr. Obi gave the charge at the second Capital Markets Conference hosted by the Association of Stockbroking Houses of Nigeria in Lagos. During the meeting, he suggests that the state-owned assets can be sold and listed in the stock exchange.
All those monies we are putting in power, whether 1 trillion or this, let them go to the capital markets. That's what will deepen the markets. That's what will change it. You start building infrastructure in a more efficient way. In today's climate, especially when we're in recession, I agree that we need to spend our way out of recession by building capital projects. And if you look at our budget this year, you should see it. Our budget this year, the capital position is 2.3 billion, and we are going to borrow 2.4 billion. That means all our capital projects this year are funded by borrowing. But why don't we do this to the capital market? Because it will make it to be more efficient. When you don't do it through the proper way, you go and have one contract that nobody has executed, and the money will be missing, and it's never the money. And then we start touching people's houses and all over the place looking for it. But it was before that I happened to end up there, would have been stopped. Because if we did the group right today, they would have ended up in grave and everything we have attraction now. It would have been there before we got to this stage. And this is where it's important that when I look at it, I personally, I feel people say, oh, well, Peter, the way you see this, you're seeing Nigeria as if it's 9 and 7. You're seeing Nigeria, the country, the economy and government as if it's 9 and 7. Countries are now products. The way you sell products is not the way you market nations. Because the people who are called our foreign investors are people who are going to market to buy products and nations. So when they look at it, they say, hey, do we invest? We have a pool of, there's a pool of money out there to invest. There's a pool of money out there to invest. And what am I going to buy? Which one am I going to buy? Turkey, Nigeria, Malaysia. Where do they live first? The capital market. This man just have 30 billion capital market. The problem is not enough. What is here? Not part of the session. The numbers are there for everybody to see.